right, so Mr. Congestion, this you did this to yourself. The whole beginning part here is you. Go.
Oh, geez, this is going to be a time. Which, the reason I wrote that is I was working on last month's Please Hold, and the way it works when I'm making the videos is there's a point where I made the video, it's 20 minutes long, I've got all the images, and I'm exporting it out of the video program, and it takes 15-20 minutes, so I have a little time to kill. And I made the mistake of going on the Service Facebook group, and there was a question already. And I'm going, all right, open up a Word document, copy and paste it, and just start doing this. And, so there was one or two questions, and then, within a couple of days after posting Please Hold, a couple more showed up, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be one of them 20-page faxes where... I'm hoping a lot of big images because, it's an image, and yes, you get the image, but it's not like we have to read an entire page of text. And no, I'm going, there's a lot of good questions, and we appreciate good questions. We just, wanted.
There's a lot of them. We're not used to that. We were down to the point where it was just Michael R. and Mr. Sewell out in Lompoc, and a couple of other people, Kristen Hudwitson, and this is severely manageable. And
it's not. We're not complaining that our cup runneth over. We just a slightly bigger cup next month.
Yeah. I never thought that we would get to the point where we might have to go. We might have to cap the number of inquirers, not just the number of questions that they're allowed to ask. And we're not there yet. This is as we know, things always work with God. If it's a test, you're supposed to pass it. If it's a punishment, you're supposed to endure it and do it with what we like to think of as characteristic good grace. So, all right. Back to you again. Go.
So, first, regarding last month's strip, as I posted on Amok, Dave and I didn't get into it, but this strip is a variation on a Glamorous pitch that I never wrote. The idea was a 5-page strip where each page was written by another writer, a la Spawn 8 through 11. And the Alan Moore page was a wall of text with a photorealistic woman in service standing there making the same jokes I have here. The Neil Gaiman page was medieval glamourpuss, a Renaissance fair girl, basically. I don't remember the Dave Sim page idea at all, or the Frank Miller one, which was probably a girl in a trench coat from a paperback cover or something. For this one, instead of overwriting the script myself, I just grabbed the script to the first 10 pages of Batman the Killing Joke and removed all the directions besides page 1, panel 1. Which leads us naturally to this month's Please Hold strip. So, this is where I tell Dave to go look at the next page of the facts and then come back. And so everybody watching the video gets to see this month's strip, and everybody listening to the audio gets to go, why are we wasting our time listening to this while we drive? We could be at home, petting the cat, maybe eating something.
I'm going to make this even longer by going, where did you get the script for the first 10 pages of Batman the Killing Joke?
I Googled it. Alan Moore's script.
Oh, really? You can just Google it, and there it is.
If you Google Alan Moore's script pages, the Killing Joke shows up. Let's see. I actually bookmarked and downloaded a bunch of them. There was a bunch of Youngblood scripts that he did that showed up, but those were uncharacteristically of an Alan Moore script. The Youngblood scripts are very short. Well, it's here's the panel, here's the person in the panel, here's what's happening. It's at most a small paragraph, not even a large paragraph. And I'm reading them going, well, I suppose this is, it's Rob Liefeld and it's Youngblood, so Alan's not doing the from hell, okay, I'm going to give you the atmosphere, as Eddie Campbell said to you in an interview you guys did, or a dialogue you did, that he had his wife go through and just highlight anything that was a page and panel description, and all the atmosphere stuff he just ignored.
Right. Okay, I interrupted. Go again.
So in this script, or in this strip for this month, I'm particularly proud of the little text at the bottom, which, because it's little text, I retyped it out of Medieval Beaver Cleaver, Medieval How's Your Beaver, Ale, the Medieval Beer, and Iguana Day, Medieval Master of Dreams, copyright Neil Gaiman. Surprisingly, Neil isn't trying to claim ownership of Medieval Boner, the Medieval Runt, Medieval Dog, so that's copyright Manly Matt Dow.
That was nice of Neil to let that one go.
Last month, we had the discussion. We talked about How's Your Beaver, and all of a sudden, my brain went, "Wait a minute! That Neil Gaiman idea of medieval. I could do a medieval How's Your Beaver." And the text on the shirt immediately was there in my head of, yeah, that's exactly how I would phrase it. And then I'm going, and there's the Arco-Romantics from High Society, who, that's what medieval beaver dresses like.
Right.
So
yeah, arguably we've done this to ourselves by doing mashups with mashups and mashups, all the way back to 1974.
Well, and of course I had to use the image of Cerbus from Anything Goes, because he's holding the cheese cutter, which looks just Cleaver-esque enough. And and I just like the idea of, I always thought the whole Spawn, the Spawn 9 thing between Todd and Neil was kind of dumb. I understand both points of view of, I hired you to write a script. It was technically work for hire, but because I'm a creator-friendly creator, we're going to make out a deal so that you get paid well. And I also understand Neil's point of view of, given that, then I own what I created. And I will give Neil Angela, you created this character, this is, from whole cloth type thing. I'll even give him Clegistro, or whatever his name is, the third character. But Spawn in medieval armor, that's a little too Superboy for me. Where, you can't say that The Adventures of Superman as a boy is somehow a completely different entity that someone can claim ownership of that doesn't have ownership of Superman. I mean, yes, the argument can be made, but you talk to the average man on the street and show him a picture of Superman and a picture of Superboy, they're going to be like, yeah, it's the same guy. And I think if you showed somebody Spawn and Medieval Spawn, they'd go, yeah, it's the same guy. So just putting the word medieval in front of any character, and suddenly you can claim it's a completely new character with completely different ownership, again, it strikes me as kind of dumb. Which is why I went and made medieval characters of all my characters, and then I'm claiming that Neil owns them. And I highly doubt Neil's ever going to hear this, but if he does, and he really wants to try to get Medieval Beaver Cleaver to be published by somebody, more power to him.
And this is also a situation with the court where, this was a court where Todd and Neil went head-to-head, and Neil prevailed, so you do have a precedent, but that was never tested by a higher court in the same jurisdiction. Thank God it didn't go all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States to be tested and say, okay, from now on, cut and dried, no more appeal. If you put medieval in front of it, the guy that put medieval in front of it owns the medieval version. And even DC and Marvel, didn't take that and go, okay, what does this do for all of our copyright worries? So in a way, it was a hockey stick curve of jurisdiction, and okay, we can have this precedent in this one instance, but it certainly hasn't been tested, and I don't think even DC and Marvel at their most jurisdictionally psychotic that they were, back in the 1960s, 1970s, or Archie would go, okay, every variation on every one of our characters that ever appeared in any comic book, give it to the legal floor of our corporation and get them to hire probably 15 times as many lawyers as they've already got, all billing at $75 an hour. We have to test all of these things in the courts. At a specific point, it just becomes ludicrous on top of ludicrous on top of ludicrous. And congratulations on cutting right to the right to the heart of that.